Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to share my book tour dates and cities. So special thanks to everybody who voted for the cities. I took everybody's choices into account and then reached out to bookstores in those cities to see who would host me. So if you live in these cities, please come see me. I would love to meet you in person, sign your book, and it's a great way to support these local bookstores that have been so hospitable to me. Just a thing to note, some of these events are free, some include the cost of the book, and there's a fabulous one that is a cooking class. Unfortunately, I don't set the prices, but this is just what the bookstores can do, which help them offset the cost of hosting an event. Okay, without further ado, here's where I'm headed. First up, Los Angeles. I had to begin where it all started, right? My former hometown. I will be there at Diesel Books in the Brentwood Country Mart on June 3rd. Now, if you can't get to any of my book tour events and you really want a signed copy of my book, Diesel Books is going to arrange for that. There's a link in the description for pre-ordering a signed copy. This is only available up until June 3rd because that's when I'm going to be there. So they're going to get me a stack of books that I can sign and they will ship them out to you worldwide. So how great is that? Then on June 4th, I'm coming to see you in San Francisco at 5:30 p.m. at Book Passage. It's a beautiful bookshop in the Ferry building. And I'll be there to sign your book, take pictures, meet and greet, the whole 9 yards. Then on June 8th, I'm headed to the Midwest. I'm coming to St. Paul, Minnesota to the lovely shop of Cooks Bellecour. And this is a fun event because I'm going to be doing a cooking class. The cost of the class includes a signed copy of the book, personalized for you or your loved one, whoever you're buying the book for, a 2-hour cooking demonstration run by yours truly, and of course a tasting of everything I make. This is a really special event. Cooks Bellecour is a beautiful cooking school and shop. And if it's something you want to do, you should RSVP right away because we only have room for 48 guests. And I couldn't leave the Midwest without a stop in Chicago, right? And thanks for recommending Anderson's Bookstore in Naperville. That's where I'll be. I'll be signing books, taking pictures, meeting and greeting, the whole bit. On June 11th, I'm traveling south to Dallas. I will be at Half Price Books starting at 7 p.m. for a meet and greet and book signing. So if you live in Dallas, come see me. On June 14th, I'll be in Charleston, South Carolina. I'll be there at Buxton Books, which is a charming little bookstore in the center of Charleston. Gather your friends, family, come on down and see me. I'll be there from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And last but not least, for my final stop, I had to hit the East Coast. And I know that New York gets all the visitors, so I'm coming to Boston. I have a soft spot in my heart for Boston because I went to Northeastern University and I love that city. I will be at the Parkside Bookshop from 6:30 to 7:30. Come on down and see me. I'll sign your book and we can swap stories about Boston. I can tell you all about my early college days living in Back Bay. Links to register are in the description. I'm sorry if your city is not included in this year's tour, but hey, if the book sells well, maybe I'll do another tour. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's get to cooking. To celebrate the book tour, I'm going to be sharing with you a fabulous recipe from my book, and I'm going to show you how to make this fantastic warm spinach and artichoke dip. I love it because it's a great recipe for spring when you're craving springtime flavors, but it still might be a little bit nippy in the air. So the first thing you want to do is add a tablespoon of butter into a large nonstick pan. Once it's melted and foamy, then you can add the shallots. So I have a 1/4 cup of diced shallots. Then you can season your shallots with a little bit of salt and freshly cracked pepper. Then you're going to add 5 ounces of baby spinach. I like the baby spinach because you don't have to chop it. It's not like the big leaves of spinach. And it'll just wilt down into nice bite-sized pieces. Now here's a note for you, and this is something that I did throughout the entire book. Each recipe has a note section. So all the tips that I usually give in my videos, they're in the book as notes. So you can use frozen spinach for this if you wanted to. Just make sure that you thaw it overnight and pat it dry with a paper towel just to absorb any of that moisture before you mix it in with the rest of the ingredients. Otherwise, your dip will be a little bit runny and it will dilute the flavor. Then go ahead and transfer this mixture to a bowl to cool. Then while that's cooling, you can get on with making your baguette toast. So I like to slice this on the diagonal because I think you get prettier shapes that way. I would probably go 1/2 inch because this dip is pretty heavy and you want to make sure your baguette toast can hold up to the weight of the dip. Now, if you don't have the time for all of this baguette toasting, you absolutely could just serve the dip with crackers. That would be a nice little shortcut. And then go ahead and brush just one side of your bread with the olive oil. I only do one side because if you do both sides, they end up being a little too crisp and hard. And I like the combination of the crunchy top and then kind of like the chewy underside. Then you want to pop this under the broiler for just 30 to 60 seconds until they turn golden brown and look a little bit crunchy. Then for the dip, we're going to add 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1/2 cup of store-bought mayonnaise, 1/4 teaspoon of lemon zest, which is just going to give this dip a lovely springy brightness, And I think it also balances the richness of all the cheese. Very important. And then you can use the same lemon for a teaspoon of lemon juice. And then you also want to add a clove of garlic. And then just mix that up until everything is combined. Then at this stage, you're going to add half of the grated cheese and then fold that in, making sure that that's all combined. Then you want to go back to your lovely spinach and shallot mixture, and you can add that in. Then I'm going to add a half a cup of artichoke hearts. It can be the kind you get in the water. It can be the kind you get in oil. Either way, I would just sort of pat them dry a little bit to make sure that you're not adding too much liquid. And then you can also add just a little bit of salt and pepper to taste at this stage. Ultimately, I'm going to serve this dip in a cast iron gratin pan because I think it works out really nicely to put it on something that's heat safe, and then you can add your little toasts on the other side. And then you can just bring this whole thing to the table, which I think works out nicely. Then transfer your mixture to your pan and just spread it out so you have an even layer. Then you're going to add the other half of cheese on top. And then you can cover this, pop it in your fridge. It's all ready to go for your party the next day. Then when it does come time to serve, you're going to bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for just about 30 minutes. And then I also like to pop it under the broiler just to get a little bit gooey and bubbly on top. And I do like to serve this with a spoon because it makes it a lot easier for your guests to spoon the dip mixture and spread it on your toast rather than take the toast and put them in the dip. And when you bite into it, you will see just how delicious it is with that crispy baguette and that warm spinach and artichoke dip. It is really fantastic, and I hope it becomes a new family favorite. The links are in the description for the book tour. I hope you come out and see me. I've waited 13 years to meet all of you. So let's make it a fun reunion. Okay, see you next time. Bye.